A little update here on the old Hyundai bump and run car. If you know nothing about it, it's a 2008 Hyundai Accent, 5-speed. I used to daily drive this car actually. I sold it local. I think I sold it for about $800. I had about 180,000 miles on it. Nothing wrong with it. I just needed to get rid of it. Didn't have the room to keep it. I had another car. And then I started doing some bump and run racing, which, if you're not familiar, is kind of like banger racing that they do overseas. Just a little less intense, more so racing than it is just, beating the shit out of each other. But I pushed this car to its absolute limits. Rev limiter, full laps at a time, first gear most of the time, had some medial side-by-side tires on it, Maxxis Bighorn 2.0s. We're going side-by-side tires again this year. I still have one good Maxxis. This one, however, took a pretty good beating. Hole right through the side there. I'm still going to try to find another one of those just to have a backup set of side-by-side tires. I picked these bad boys up from Facebook Marketplace, $50. They are 26 by 9 by 14s. So I have an extra set of 14-inch wheels. Those will go great on. But we blew her up at the last race last year. Don't really know what the cause was. Started losing power, just spitting and sputtering, started running on 3 cylinders and went down to 2 cylinders. We had this exhaust manifold on it. It's a little upright. I just have it mounted upside down, but the last race was a Halloween race, so I designed this manifold to kind of look like an organ from a church. I painted the car to look like a pumpkin. I called that exhaust manifold the cathedral. But yeah, we were coming around the last lap, and she started slowing down, and it was almost kind of sweet. I wish my GoPro was recording. I'll insert a clip here so you can see just roughly about how long we stay on limiter at a time. But coming around the last lap, last turn, it was like almost synchronized. It was smoke out of each one of the pipes, and then it was just spitting fire out of each one of the pipes, and then it just shut itself off. Had it towed back to the trailer, pushed it on the trailer, popped the radiator cap. There wasn't a drop of water in it. The coolant recovery, there's not a drop of water in it. So I assumed it got pretty hot. Brought it home, checked the spark plugs, they were all right. Did a compression test for the hell of it. We had 60 right here, cylinder 1, cylinder 2 had 110, cylinder 3 had 0, and cylinder 4 had 10. So, could have torn the head gasket apart on the inside. I haven't really looked around the back side of this motor yet, but there's no signs that the head gasket blew out from the outside. Could have fried some valves, could have melted some piston rings, I'm not sure. I paid $400 for this car. I easily made my money back on parting it out. But we're pulling out the old 1.6. Makes the whole whopping like 90 horsepower, maybe 100 horsepower at the crank in 2008 with no miles on it. So I'm going to say about 80 horsepower to the wheels. We're going to throw this G4 GC out of a 2007 Hyundai Elantra. It's a 2-liter, dual overhead cam, CVVT. It's about 135, maybe 140 crank horsepower. We got a 6-puck clutch on the way, stage 3, and the 9-pound flywheel. I'm talking to guy Chase over in Washington, he actually has the trick up his sleeve to get a good tune on these, and he can crack the ECU and all that good stuff. I'm hoping to be pretty quick with this car. It's definitely surprised me last year. Keeping up with 3,800 cars, supercharged 3,800 cars, Ecotech, tuned Ecotechs, all the shebang. And I think I'm the only one local that races a 5-speed. So I don't know. I was just out there to go have fun. It was my first year racing last year. We kind of built this car. It took us, I think, a total of 8, maybe 9 hours to fully, completely build this car from start to finish. We don't really have a whole lot for support. We got one spreader bar. This is actually a bed rail from a truck. We just cut and went from B-pillar to B-pillar. One upright bar. That's 3.5 inch, quarter-inch wall. Welded to the floor, right to the roof there. We do have a 5-point race quip harness. Stock seat. We kept the dash in it, but I think when I do this Beta 2 swap, I don't think it's going to be very operable. I don't really feel like swapping over the body connector. I got a little battery box here I made it work. Nothing fancy, but passes tech. But that's all I have for reinforcements on the inside. It's still stock in the back. Still got the stock bumper, and that's actually, this is like a fiber material. It's not even a steel back bumper. This is this is pulled away from the body so far from trying to yank it out of my dad's backyard. It was frozen to the ground. But hatch is welded shut. Doors are welded shut. Took a couple pretty good hits in this car. We blew out a CV axle, the Posen Potato Festival last year. That's the roughest track I've ever raced on. And that last race that this car blew up at, the side-by-side tire got blown out. Somebody had points on their bumper. They probably should not have passed tech, but whatever. We're just there to have fun until, that fun cost you a single $150 tire. So all I had was to put these Winter Force, whatever the fuck they are. I don't even know if they're Winter Forces. It's just some generic snow tires, 10-year-old snow tires, all dry rotted. Just toss some tubes in it, toss some sidewalls on them. I do have sidewalls on the side-by-side tires, though they're not that big. But you can see how that hole just right behind it. So all they did was hopped under that lug. Actually ripped that lug right off. I don't know, the points on this guy's bumper that blew out this tire. There you go. There's a good hole. They're pretty extreme, but whatever. It's all in fun. It's all part of the game. Was not mad about it. Was upset I didn't have a better set of backup tires, but that's my own fault. Yeah, I don't know. I just got this motor pulled out, so I'm waiting on the clutch in the mail. I still have to order the flywheel. We got about 2.5 months, I'm going to say, until the first race. But yeah, we got plenty of time. I just wanted to get this out of here, the motor out of here, so I can lower the car down, give this back to the junkyard for a core. And I want to get this pushed out of my garage and covered up, pushed outside, so I can park my truck back in here. I think we're expecting like 13 inches of snow this week. I'm not looking forward to that. But we do have another project that we will be building also to race this year. We got a hell of a lot to do on that. Haven't even really touched it yet. It's not a stick car. It's not a 4-cylinder car. Hopefully it'll be pretty quick. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to, get on here and give an update. I think a lot of people saw this thing blow up, and I'm sure a lot of people heard about it blow up. And I'm assuming a lot of people thought that I was just going to scrap it, because I think a lot of people did not like this car, because super obnoxious with 1.5-inch upright headers. But whatever. I'm not out there to make people happy. My kids like to watch me race. I'm trying to get my wife to race. I bought her a Monte Carlo Z34. Already pre-built, pre-ran. It's pretty beat up, but it's got the cage that'll keep her safe. I just want to see if she'll like it. If she ends up liking it, we'll get her something else. We'll build her something different. We'll get her a fresh car. But yeah, that's just a quick update. We're going to actually run, instead of all those bare wires, we're going to completely redo all the electrical and run it to a switch panel, push button start. One of the parts that I parted out of this car was the ignition tumbler, all the door locks and the keys, so that's not an option to start with a key anymore. But yeah, we're going to get a nice panel to put in there with all the switches for the fans, the fuel pump, and the push button for the start. Probably get a temp gauge in there. Don't really care about a tachometer. But yeah, it'd be nice to have at least a temp gauge, because I could have kept this car from blowing up if I had a temp gauge. These didn't come with a temp gauge stock. They came with a dummy light that either is red or blue. And one of the races, it was getting hot, and it kept saying it was red, and I didn't want to see that, so I just yanked the wires off. So it just always said it was cold. That probably didn't help the blowing it up, but would much rather just have an actual temp gauge that tells me what temperature the inside of this motor's at. But this is the poor man's way to have fun. Those are the tires that are going on the other car I was talking about. Some pretty meaty LTs. But yeah, just a quick update video. When I get the clutch and the flywheel and we get ready to put that Beta 2 motor in, the 2.0, I'll make another video. I mean, most of them, I don't know what intrigued me to make this video. All my videos on here have been just racing. Just GoPro footage of racing, which I do have a couple more GoPros this year. So in this car, I think I'm going to set one up on the floor right between my feet, so you can see how I work with the clutch and the brake and the gas while I'm racing. I'll still have the one on my helmet, and I don't know, I might put one on the roof facing backwards, or I might mount it on the dash facing me. I'm not sure. Got to kind of toy around with that idea. I'm not sure what would be better for a video, but regardless, the helmet camera will be the main video. I'll incorporate them all into one video. I'll make the one on the footboard minimized, kind of in the bottom corner, and then whatever one in a different corner or something, or I'll just bounce back between them all so you can see it. I'm also going to have a microphone routed to my helmet, so you'll be able to hear what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, what I'm doing during the race. I don't know, it's all at a good time. I'm hoping to travel a little bit more this year. We're going to have 3 cars this year, so hoping to make it to Standish. I want to put this in the 4-cylinder mod class championships. I want to hopefully make it to that. Hopefully the car lasts. This motor has 134,000 miles on it, so we should be good with the proper cooling. All I was running for cooling with the 1.6 was this half-size Honda Civic radiator from eBay with that single fan, which it did pretty good. I just think we lost all the water when we were, rev banging it with the snow tires, because with the snow tires they spin hell of a lot easier than those side-by-sides. So I just had it in second gear to the floor the whole time. But I'm going to get this motor pulled out of here. Apparently this is as high as this cherry picker goes. So I got to get the car off the jack stand so I can get it over. Unfortunately, this is welded to the car, so I can't pull that out and slide the motor off. The bumper is welded to the car. That's also the stock front bumper. It's not very thick. It's not very it's just there. You know, it's I don't know. It's just hanging out. It's just chilling, having a good time. I think it's having a good time. Probably not. It sees a lot of other back bumpers, but it's welded. All this is welded to the car. This is 7-gauge angle iron that I made up at work. And actually, the bar here supporting it is another one of those bed rails from a truck that we have on the inside there. That's just splicing those together. It's all welded. All the welding done on this car is from a Lincoln MIG welder, gasless. I mean, we haven't used gas, and this front end has not bent one time. I smacked a tire pretty hard, a big old tractor tire filled with concrete, smacked it in Alpena, bounced off a car and hit that tire. I was definitely expecting there to be some sort of damage, but all it did was this. But I don't know. I want to, with all the cameras this year and my wife racing and my dad's likely going to race one of my cars, most of the events we should have 3 cars going, at least 2 at every race, as long as one of them's not broken. I just got to stock up. When I ordered the axle that we broke the driver's side axle, and I ordered another one, so we do have an extra. I would like to order an extra passenger side, some extra tie rods. Conveniently, these aren't like Grand Ams or Grand Prix that everybody runs. It's got the aluminum spindles and all that. Everything's steel, so I don't really have to worry about a control arm bending or breaking. Bending at least, but bent control arm is not going to stop me from racing unless it's pretty extravagant. But yeah, we're just going to stock up some spare parts, so if we happen to break in our heat, depending what promoter we're racing for, we might have a second chance if we can fix the car and go out for a round robin or a LCQ, last chance qualifier. But yeah, it's always nice just to have some spare parts, because in Posen, the Posen Potato Festival, they run 2 days, and the axle broke on the first day, and we did not have a spare. None of the local auto parts stores had one, and they had to order one, and it was like $180, but I ordered 2 of them off Rock Auto for $89, and it seems a lot beefier than the stock one. But yeah, I'm gonna get all this done. It's pretty late outside. 11:47, pretty late outside. It's pretty late in general, not in my garage too, not just outside. But I got to be up pretty early. So I'm gonna get all this done. Hopefully, get the hood at least set back on. I don't really care if it's mounted back on, but get this pushed outside. Get my truck pulled back in the garage. And when we're ready to throw this other motor in, I will get you guys another update video. All right, peace.